sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Thursday, August 17th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Oh, going pretty good. How'd you do in your picks last night?
Not too good, though. I think I was 2 and 3.
Oh, up 4-1.
Had the Reds and the Mariners right, but Marlins ended up getting killed by the Astros, which helps the Reds, but Marlins have been playing pretty good, so I thought and then Red Sox got beat by the Nationals.
Yeah, I missed that one.
But the game that really got me was the Rangers. Rangers got shut out by the Angels. That not gonna lie, that surprised me.
I was just
especially getting shut out.
I was just looking at the Reds play Toronto this weekend.
Yep.
I don't know who they're going to start Friday. They haven't announced yet, but I looked at the Toronto's pitching staff. It's going to be pitching. I mean, they got pretty good pitchers over there. Pretty good ERAs.
Yeah. Toronto's not a bad team at all. It should be a good series. Reds have a day off today, and then start that series with Toronto tomorrow. Then they go out west, go out west after that, and then come back.
Yeah, Angels.
Then come back and play the Cubs at home.
And they got one of the guys from Toronto's got a 2-something ERA. The other two was both 3-something. So I mean, they've got pretty good pitching staff. I think they have a little trouble hitting the ball.
Reds are basically tied with the Cubs for the last wild card spot, and then they're 2.5 games back out of the division.
Miami's also tied with them. 3-way tie.
Cubs, they would have been ahead of the Cubs. The Cubs got that walk-off home run.
Come back and won.
It looked like the Cubs, Marlins, and Brewers was all going to lose last night. And then Cubs got the walk-off home run to win that game. And it was a shot, too. That guy hit that ball pretty damn hard. Morrell. Yeah, I saw highlights of that. Reds looked pretty good. Yesterday. I don't know if it was the lineup change or.
If you put your starters in there, you might have a chance.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand changing, like I said, maybe one guy or something that you think is going to help you, but you can't change your lineup that much. Let's take out all of our guys that have been hitting the ball.
Yeah.
If you put Friedel back in and look at the game Friedel had last night, hit the ball decent, robbed the guy of a home run out there in center field. That's the other reason I was like, you can't set Friedel out. For one, he's been one of our best leadoff hitters when you've had him, when you keep him up there. And then the other thing, he's our best outfielder. He's our best outfielder we have.
Overall, Chris, this season, he might be your best player.
I don't know if I put him at best.
Who you gonna put over?
Maybe McLean.
Okay, I argue. You could argue McLean
or Steer as well.
Steer too. Yeah, it's
Steer
pretty
leads,
close.
I think Steer still leads the team in RBIs.
That's
and,
true. I was just thinking defense, speed, everything. All categories.
I'd have Friedel up there. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm thinking all categories overall. I think he's.
I'd have Friedel up there, but I think McLean and Steer have kind of got overlooked.
No, I don't
because
disagree.
of Dela Cruz's name. Even though Dela Cruz has been hitting under 200, it's like first 30 games he was hitting like 300. Now he's hitting under 200 his last 29 games.
And it won't change unless he changes. He's gonna have to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he will, but he's got to get accustomed, and the pitchers are figuring him out how to throw him, and he's got to.
I think he's up there trying to guess too much. Like last night, he looked at 3 fastballs that they might have been. They were. Sorry about that. Having a little bit of internet trouble. Been storming out, so that might have a little bit to do with it. Hopefully that clears up. But yeah, especially with pitchers trying to figure them out, and a lot of times you're not going to get good pitches. If that first pitch is a good pitch, he needs to be trying to jump on it. I think he's looking for the breaking ball too much, and then he's so worried about that breaking ball and waiting on it not being early. Then when that fastball does come, it's hard for him to catch up with it because he's.
Another thing, he's got a big. I mean, I know that he's got some power, and that's great. I think that'll come. I think not to force it. I think he just needs to be a contact hitter because he puts the ball in play. He's got a good chance of getting on base. He's got a good chance of stealing, and I still think he can hit for 20 or more home runs a year. But you don't need to go up there looking for it. But he's young. I mean, he's 21 years old. I mean, he's going to make some mistakes.
And he's been struggling, and I see a lot of people. He needs to go back to the minors. A couple of reasons I don't think so. One, minor league season is getting ready to end, so he would just be coming right back up when they call up with the call-ups. But the other reason is there's a big difference between major league pitching and minor league pitching. He was pounding the ball in the minor leagues. You send him back down there and he starts pounding it again. You bring him back up. Then he still has to adjust to the major league pitching. The best thing for him right now is to get at bats and work through on your off days. Be working on things. I'm sure that the coaches and stuff are working with him. I'm sure he's putting in work that we don't see to try to get better. But I don't see where sending down the minors really going to improve him any. I think what he needs right now is to see the high level pitching, and so he can get more used to it. I don't send him down the minors.
Plus you had if he does get on base, you got that speed, and he's also ain't like he's a liability on defense. He's a real good defensive player.
He's good defense.
So I mean, he's adding other things to the game, and with losing India, I mean, if you send him down, who you gonna have in there? Because we don't have India right now.
Well, that's my thing. You're going to send him down to bring up somebody else that's because people say they brought him up too soon. Okay, so let's send him back down and bring up somebody else too soon. That don't make no sense either.
You're going to bring Barrios back up, but they've had him playing outfield. So I don't, and Barrios has been hitting the ball real good in the minor leagues. I'm hoping when he does come back up, he has some success.
They have enough. I mean, they have enough infielders, but what it would do, you're going to play Newman every day. Hell, people already hate Newman. Dude, there was Fairchild hits a 2-run home run last night, and then because he flies out with bases loaded in like the 7th inning or whatever, people are going crazy. Oh, of course Fairchild flies out, can't get a base hit. People act like it's just easy to get up there and hit a baseball. And you're just going to forget about the 2-run home run that he hit earlier in the game. He was 2 for 4 last night. That's not a bad night. Yep.
Well, the other night when they
I was
played,
like, hell, he could go 4 for 4. You guys would still find something to bitch about.
yeah, he's not played bad when he's been playing. Yeah, he's definitely not an issue. He's not a.
Oh, hell, the game before he got the RBI to win the game off the beating out a double play. I mean, has he struggled some? Yes, but here lately, where he's been getting some more consistent playing time, I think he's actually played pretty well. So it just kills me how people are so recent bias. It's like 3 innings ago, dude hits a 2-run home run, and you're all going crazy. Then now 3 innings later, he flies out, and he's the worst player in baseball.
Well, people don't know anything about baseball at all, and some of them hadn't been Reds fans for a long time either. So maybe some of them, maybe never. A lot of them jumped on the bandwagon.
And it's like, oh, we've won more games this year than we won last year. Been more competitive this year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love for them to make the playoffs.
Well, I
think that'd be awesome. And I still think we have a good chance to make the playoffs. But it's not like, to me, this season isn't about winning a World Series or it's a failure. That's not where the Reds are at yet.
If we made it to a World Series, Chris, I mean, even though I think we're in the playoff, I don't know. I can't speak for you. I'd be shocked.
Oh yeah, I would be if we did this year.
I mean, if we just made it to a World Series, I'm going to be extremely happy if we just make the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. In getting the playoffs, I want to win, but
anything can happen once you get there. You know, we've seen teams get hot. We've seen the Reds get hot this year and go on that 12-game winning streak. If you get hot and play and start playing like that again, I mean, in the playoffs, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, because I mean, you see how
I'm not. It's not my expectation yet.
Well, you see how the pitchers, when they're on, how they can pitch. We've seen how these guys, when they're on hit, we've seen their speed. They've got the ingredients that if they get hot, they could be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
Well, especially if Green and Lodolo can come back and get in a good rhythm, because I mean that's like adding, couple arms to your rotation, and guys that at the beginning of the season you thought were going to be probably your number 1 and number 2 starter.
Yep.
Coming off last year, you probably thought them 2 guys going to be your number 1, 2 starter this year, and because they haven't been, and some of that's because of injuries, but with the progression of Ashcraft and then what Abbott's done in his rookie year, if you add them 2 back and they can be effective, I mean, right there you have 4 good starters.
Can't forget about what Williamson's done last 8 or 9, 10 games. He's been almost like one of the number 1 guys, in last games. He's figured things out.
Yeah, he has. He's pitched well. He should have got a win the other day, and end up blowing that game.
And right now, he's pitching as well as any Reds pitcher. So I mean, he's really doing well.
See, Brewers played tonight, so if the Brewers lose again, that put us only 2 games back up and going into this weekend series. I mean, still within striking distance. And that's all. I mean, really, to me, that's all I was hoping for, is still be in striking distance as you're going into the end of the season, where you still have a chance.
Well, they play the Rangers next,
and we haven't really hit a hot streak in the second half of the season yet. So, and I'm hoping one's coming here soon. In fact, that could really work to our advantage, because we've been able to stay close and we haven't really hit a hot streak.
Yep. You know who the Cubs play?
No. But they have a pretty on paper they had a pretty favorable schedule, because
Big Man is NXT. He got him some tickets.
He must have got him some tickets. Because they played the White Sox, and then they had another series that was kind of favorable. So their next 2 or 3 series were teams that were kind of favorable for them. But I mean, the White Sox was close to winning the first 2 games.
Oh yeah. Well, they won 1, and they should have won. They should have swept the Cubs.
So they could have won that game last night. They don't have a real big slate of games today, because you had
they play the Royals.
I was gonna say, their next few series was kind of favorable, where we go to Blue Jays and the Angels, Diamondbacks, I think Giants, and then I know we play the Cubs was it Labor Day weekend? Yeah, October 10th. Oh yeah, I knew he was talking about going. He was waiting to see when the Pacer games was going to be because he was going to try to hit a Pacer game.
Well,
Uh,
he's got the
he was going to try to hit a Pacer game at that same time he was down there.
he's got Fast Lane on the 7th.
Yeah.
And then he'll leave and see NXT.
Well, that's why he said if the Pacer games didn't fall right, he was the way he was wanting. He was going to go. He told me last night he was going to try to go right after Fastlane. He said flights them couple of days was pretty cheap. They say you could get a round trip for like $150 or something. But then he just said he had enough points stacked up, so that he only had to pay for that. So pretty cool. But all right, yeah, we only had like 6 games today. One's playing right now.
Another one starts at 4.
At 4. So I basically I didn't do a game. I didn't do a pick for the game that's playing right now, but for the ones that started out, the rest of them I did. But right now you have the Mariners and Royals playing. The game's tied 1-1, bottom of the 5th inning. Royals are 1.5 run favorites, and they're minus 116 on the money line live odds. Royals are minus 110 live odds. Over unders at 6.5. The Royals have a runner on first base, no outs in the bottom of the 5th. Next game starts at 4:06 p.m. Eastern. Baseball has the weirdest start times, but it's the Boston Red Sox at the Washington Nationals. The Red Sox are the Red Sox are 1.5 run favorites, minus 186 on the money line. Nationals are plus 156 on the money line. Over under for this game is set at 10 runs. The Red Sox are 63-57 on the season, 28-29 on the road. Red Sox are 3-2 over their last 5 games, hitting .261 as a team on the season with a 4.34 team ERA. Okay, that'll pop back up here in a second, and I'll be able to tell you who the pitcher is for him. For some reason, my screen just went blank. But the Nationals are 54-67 on the season, 26-35 at home. Okay, for the Red Sox on the mound is Sell. That's who I thought it was, but I didn't want to say it. Would not know for sure. He's 5-2 with a 4.52 ERA. The Nationals are 54-67 on the season, 26-35 at home. They will have Corbin on the mound. He's 7-11 with a 4.85 ERA on the season. Nationals are 4-1 over their last 5 games, hitting .259 as a team on the season with a 4.86 team ERA. The Red Sox won game 1 of this series. Nationals won the second game of the series. I like the Nationals here at the plus 1.5. All right. Next game is going to be the New York Mets at the St. Louis Cardinals. This game starts at 7:16 p.m. Eastern time, with the Mets being 1.5 run favorites on the road, minus 132 on the money line. The Cardinals are plus 112 on the money line. Over under for this game is set at 10.5 runs. The Mets are 55-66 on the season, 24-38 on the road. On the mound for the Mets is Quintana. He's 0-4 with a 3.03 ERA. The Mets are 3-2 over their last 5 games, hitting .237 as a team on the season with a 4.53 team ERA. The Cardinals are 54-67 on the season, 27-34 at home. Cardinals are 3-2 over their last 5 games, hitting .259 as a team on the season with a 4.55 team ERA. I like the Cardinals here at the plus 1.5. They have Wainwright on the mound. He's 3-7 with a 8.78 ERA. His ERA hasn't been great, but I like the Cardinals at home at the plus 1.5. Then you have the Detroit Tigers at the Cleveland Guardians. The Tigers are 1.5 run favorites on the road, minus 136 on the money line. Guardians are plus 116 on the money line. Over-unders at 8.5 runs. Tigers are 54-66 on the season, 28-33 on the road. They will have Screwball on the mound. He's 2-2 with a 4.18 ERA. The Tigers are 2-3 over the last 5 games, hitting .235 as a team on the season with a 4.48 team ERA. The Tigers lead the regular season series against the Guardians 4-2. The Guardians are 58-63 on the season, 31-28 at home. On the mound for the Guardians is Curry. He's 3-1 with a 3.39 ERA. The Guardians are 2-3 over their last 5 games, hitting .250 as a team on the season with a 3.78 team ERA. I like the Guardians here at the plus 1.5 as well. No, Tigers do lead the regular season series, but Guardians are the better hitting team, and they have a little bit better pitching staff. So I'm gonna go with the Guardians at home. Mets have been up and down. It's hard to project on the Mets because they've been so up and down, haven't really been consistent, and they have struggled on the road some. Then you have the Arizona Diamondbacks at the San Diego Padres. Diamondbacks are 1.5 run favorites on the road, minus 108 on the money line. Padres are minus 108 in the money line. This game is pick'em. Over-unders at 8.5. The Diamondbacks are 61-60 on the season, 31-29 on the road. They will have Gallen on the mound, who's 12-5 with a 3.24 ERA. The Diamondbacks are 4-1 over the last 5 games, hitting .255 as a team on the season with a 4.68 team ERA. The Padres are 58-63 on the season, 32-29 at home. On the mound for the Padres is Hill. He's 7-12 with a 5.17 ERA. Padres are 2-3 over their last 5 games, hitting .241 as a team on the season with a 3.81 team ERA. The Padres lead the regular season series against the Diamondbacks 5-4. But I like the Diamondbacks on the money line. They're 4-1 over their last 5 games. They have Gallen on the mound, who's been pitching really good this season. 12-5 record with 3.24 ERA. The Diamondbacks are the better hitting team. Padres do probably have the better overall pitching staff with their bullpen and everything, but I like the Diamondbacks. And then last game of the night, Milwaukee Brewers at the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers are 1.5 run favorites, minus 148 on the money line. The Brewers are plus 126 on the money line. Over-under for this game is at 8.5 runs. Brewers are 65-56 on the season, 32-29 on the road. They are 3-2 over their last 5 games, hitting .232 as a team on the season with a 4.02 team ERA. The Dodgers are 73-46 on the season, 40-20 at home. Dodgers are 5-0 over the last 5 games, hitting .253 as a team on the season with a 4.23 team ERA. Dodgers are on a 10-game winning streak. You'll have Burns on the mound tonight for the Brewers, who is 9-6 with a 3.60 ERA. And on the mound for the Dodgers is going to be Lynn, who's 9-9 with a 5.88 ERA. I like the Dodgers at home here against the Brewers. They've been able to beat them the last couple of nights. I look for them to pull off the sweep tonight, which I am rooting for because I'd get the Reds only 2 games behind the Brewers. Yep. But Dodgers have been playing good baseball. Their weakness has been their pitching at times, but it seems over the last week and a half, couple of weeks, they've kind of figured that out a little bit, and they've been playing some pretty good baseball.
Yep.
So my picks for tonight: Nationals plus 1.5, Guardians plus 1.5, Cardinals plus 1.5, Diamondbacks money line, and the Dodgers on the money line.
Okay, my Major League Baseball parlay for tonight: Boston money line at Washington, Detroit at Cleveland, Cleveland money line, Mets money line at St. Louis, Arizona money line at San Diego, and Milwaukee against the Dodgers. I will take the Dodgers money line.
John Suggs said, "Oh hey, can you hand me that broom in the corner? Need to sweep those Yankees back home." Laughing out loud.
Yeah. Yankees are under 500.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yankees are struggling. I can't feel bad for them though, because how long have they been one of the better?
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
I know it sucks when your team's not doing good.
A lot of people give
But I'm not. I can't.
well, a lot of people give the Mets shit. You know, they spent all this money, and you know what they happened this year. Gotta say the same thing for the Yankees to a certain degree. They spend a lot of money too every year, and they've really crapped the bed. I mean, I know Judge got hurt, but with all the money and all the players they've got, they should be able to maintain without Judge.
Well, they had some injuries, and their pitching. Their
pitching is really struggling.
Their pitching started struggling, kind of has let them down some.
And hitting too. I mean, they've had a list.
Well,
that happens.
They spent all that money on Rendon, and he hasn't panned out. And then Judge been hurt. The guy, you're right. They spent money, but the problem is the guys they spent the money on ended up hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
What I liked about the Mets, they spent the money on them pitchers and stuff, and it didn't work out. And they done a trade there before the trade deadline, and at least got something back for them guys.
But you know what though, Chris? And then they did. Really, both of them pitchers didn't pitch that bad there. I mean, it wasn't their fault that they lost. It was other issues.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think they realized they needed. There was a lot of other pieces they needed, so they decided, let's get, and they got a pretty good haul back for them guys too. Sure. And with that owner, he'll go next year and spend a bunch of money. He has the money to spend. He don't he don't care. He'll spend the money to try to put out a winner out there, and if it don't work, he'll try again. Which I appreciate that, because we don't have an owner like that. So I mean, I do appreciate an owner that is willing to at least, even if they don't go about it the right way, at least they're making an attempt.
Verlander got beat up on last night.
Oh, did he?
It was I think it was the last night or the night before. Well, Houston won, but but maybe it was the night before. I know he gave up 5 or 6 runs.
I think he pitched last night. Or was the night before?
I remember. I know I've seen some highlights, and he gave up some runs. Maybe they just scored enough to.
Yeah, it might have been the night before. I'm not. I can't remember 100% sure. Hey, how's it going, Billy? What did I just do? Okay, there we are. Press the wrong button. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. It might have been. You might be right. It might have been the other night, because they did win last night, and I think they jumped out to a lead pretty early last night, because they beat them pretty good. It's a pretty good little league game so far since yesterday. Sterling and O'Malley this weekend. We'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow, because we'll give out picks for the UFC. But O'Malley was on McAfee's show today. He usually comes on there before the fights, but I don't know. I think it'll be a pretty good fight, but I have Sterling winning it.
I think Sterling too.
And I'm not like the biggest Sterling fan, but I thought he looked about the best he looked his last fight. He surprised me that last fight, because I didn't think he'd win the last one. O'Malley is exciting to watch. I just don't know if he's going to have enough. He's going to have to keep him on the outside, use his reach advantage, and really keep him on the outside, I think. But like I said, we'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow. You got the Women's World Cup final set. Spain and England. Me and Glenn both went with Spain, picked Spain to win.
I think Spain too.
And I'll be honest with you. I'm basically basing that off because they beat Sweden and Sweden beat us. uh, and they beat Sweden on penalty kicks because that was one of the games I was complaining about. Like, how can people watch 90 minutes and no goal scored? Now the penalty kicks are awesome. I mean, hell, they could just line up new penalty kicks, decide who wins the game every game, and I'd be fine with it. Cut out the other 90 minutes, just
do penalty.
just do penalty kicks. But and I understand soccer is worldwide is probably one of the biggest sports there is if you go like worldwide. But it's just I don't know. I haven't been able to get into it like a lot of other people can, and maybe I just picked the wrong games the wrong games to try to watch because it seems like every game I try to watch there's no scoring.
Yeah, it was a letdown.
Yeah, but I kind of I don't know. Just and like I said, I don't know enough about it, but it was so yeah, it was a letdown. But just from like hearing people talk, I think we kind of should have expected it a little bit.
I think we got a little old.
Well, I think it's a mixture of getting old and young at the same time, and you just never know how the younger players that don't. I mean, they're great players. Don't get me wrong, but they haven't played it on that stage. You just don't know how they're going to respond the first time.
Yeah.
I think that Trinity Rodman's going to end up being real good. Mm-hmm. I really do. But not that she played bad, but you know what I mean. I think she'll play at a higher level. Sometimes you just have to get that experience, and it's different playing. I know they play pro, but it's different playing that and playing like on a world stage.
But talking about the soccer a little bit, what do you think about all the people that hated the women's soccer team and glad that they lost? Was rooting for them to fail.
I know there was people,
a lot of people,
and a lot of that's because of just basically
one or two players, maybe three.
Most of it one
in particular, but you'll see a picture of three of them.
Yeah, but most of it's because most of it's the Rapino or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's Rapino, but oh yeah, you're right, Billy. They did hype them up way too much.
Well, they've had a lot of success, and they thought they were going to continue to have that success.
My view on it is, you don't have to agree with people. Or just because you don't agree with people, don't mean you have to hate them either. And I'm not saying I'm a big fan of Rapinos, and I'm not saying I'm saying that I hate that I'm not a big fan, but just because I'm not a fan of somebody or I don't agree with maybe all their views doesn't mean you have to hate them or hate on a team.
I'm so tired of all these people on both sides. I'm not picking a side on both sides that want to. Oh, they're anti-America. They're anti-America because of their views. Well, then they come out and they're being anti-America too with their view. It's both sides, though. It's ridiculous, the hate, man, everywhere. Just nothing but hate because somebody's opinion is not the same as yours. Who gives a shit?
And I hate it. What I hate about it, about the most, is now it's carried over to sports. I mean, I've been in some like Reds fan chat groups for a long time, and now you're in there, and it's nothing but negativity. Yeah. And even the Colts groups are like that right now. And it's like, if you're a fan of a team and that team really makes you that negative, you probably shouldn't be a fan of the team. I mean, you need to find something else to spend your time doing. If it makes your life that negative while you watch a game. I mean, I watch games to enjoy them. I don't watch them now, don't get me wrong. Do I get aggravated sometimes? Do I get maybe a little disappointed sometimes when the Reds don't play? Well, yeah, I mean, because you root for them, but also I'm realistic and know what baseball is. Baseball is a game of failure. I mean, it is. It's the only sport I know that you can hit the ball 25% of the time and be considered pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If you're hitting the ball 30% of the time, you're doing really good. It's like, I mean, hell, NBA players shoots 25%. We're going to, you know what I mean? They're going to get buried. Yeah. In baseball, you hit the 25%, you're going to have a job. So, and now it's carrying over into football as well. I mean, and some people just do it. Some people do it just to try to get clicks and get people going. But then you have some people that are just some of the people get on there and make comments. I'm like, do you even watch the games?
Yeah. Well, just like, and then you get
don't get me wrong. Everybody can. I mean, hey, everybody's entitled to have an opinion. But when you just get on there and bashing people, that's not an opinion. That's just it's just hate. You're just doing. I mean, it's one thing. Like, do I agree with everything David Bell does? No, I don't at all. But I don't have to get on there and bash him every day.
No.
Either. Now did I think he made a dumbass move with his lineup the other day? Yes. And if I saw that lineup before I made my pick, I wouldn't have picked the Reds that day.
Yeah, it was crazy,
but he's the manager, and I say a lot of it's him, but some of it's not him either. Because everybody knows that the way baseball is now with analytics and stuff, some of these managers, they're not the only ones making the decision. They're some of them are getting told what to do as well. So my biggest thing with Bell that I've had the problem with is the way he uses the pitching staff on matchups. It's sometimes if you have a pitcher rolling, you don't have to go with the matchup. Use your gut sometimes. That's my biggest criticism of him is sometimes I think he takes pitchers out when he should or shouldn't, and then he don't take them out when he should. Other than that, it's not. I really don't complain too much. Now the batting lineup the other night that was bad. That was bad. It's hard to justify. Like I said, I can understand, but to take 4 or 5 guys out of your lineup and just don't make a whole lot of sense, especially when, like a Friedel and a Benson that have been hitting the ball good. Benson's been one of our best hitters over the last month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, it was crazy. Let me ask you this: do you think Billy Bean and his philosophy, because that's where it kind of started in a way, and it went a lot further, of course, with analytics. But do you think that's been bad for baseball?
I think it's been both. I think it's been good because I think it's been good for baseball. I think it's good for baseball because I think analytics to a point are good for baseball. I think they're a great tool for baseball, having the numbers and the data. I think all that's a great tool for baseball, but I think that's what it is, a tool. I don't think it should be the end all be all. And it's kind of became the end all be all. So that's where I think it's been bad for baseball because they've took it over the top. But I think it's good for baseball because it can help you build a good team, and it can be a good tool to go off and get information off of. But I think too many of the teams are going by it like it's gospel, and I think that's where it can get you in trouble because there's variance or there's a feel to the game. There's a feel to the game, how the game's going. If a pitcher's in a groove, I mean, there's different variables on there that analytics can't really account for. So I think that's one of the drawbacks. But I do think it can help you build a team because of you have all the numbers and the data and the research, and not just build your team, but to prepare for another team. Like defensively, where should I play my guys at?
Well,
I mean,
you see,
well, they have all the cards.
They'll have cards when the batter comes out. They're looking at the cards
to see where
they should be.
Yeah, so I mean,
shouldn't be. Whatever.
I think there's been a lot of good things that's came from it, but I also think there's been some negative that's come from it because I think they've made it too important. If that makes sense.
Yeah, Damien, sports is entertainment, and that some people take it way too serious. I mean, I enjoy it. I love sports. I love pro wrestling, and pro wrestling is not really a sport, because it's predetermined. But it's a soap opera, really. It's what it is. The men's soap opera is what it is, and I love it. So I mean, but people get all upset and take everything so serious anymore, man. And if you don't like something, you have to. I mean, I can say I don't like something, but you don't have to go nuts.
Well, I always thought sports was kind of a release to get away from like some of the stress and other stuff, and now it's like we've brought like everyday life into sports, and it's what I mean, and kind of combined it, and I think that's where some of the people started taking it too serious and to that point, but also I think that's where some of the hate started coming from because that's how society's turned, and they like just have brought sports into it where. Hell, you get off work, go home to whatever you watch. That's your entertainment to kind of relax and get get away from maybe some of your problems for a little bit. Not think about that. Don't need another problem to be bitching and hating. There's enough of that going on.
Yes, I mean, the only really opinion that counts and is your own. And let me give a take on that. It only counts. Your opinion only counts because you're the one that's living that opinion, and it only counts for you. I don't want to think, well, my opinion. I'm not saying that. Well, Chris, your opinion don't count. The only counts is mine to me because it's the one that's going to affect my life. Just like your opinion is going to affect your life. But it don't mean you have to hate. Oh, Chris, you're a fucking idiot because you don't think the way I think. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you just worry about what you think and your beliefs and live your life that way, that's all you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about how the other people live.
Yeah, we don't
live.
You don't want everybody thinking the exact same way.
And you have a lot of problems then.
And that's one of the problems we have now. Everybody thinks a lot, or not everybody, but a lot of people think that everybody has to think like you.
Well, you got the left that thinks that, and you got the right that thinks that. And the people who don't think that way in the middle, we're kind of fun. But it is what it is. Speaking of entertainment, real quick, Chris, did you happen to see the Texas Chainsaw Death Match on AEW last night?
No, I haven't.
I watched it.
I have not seen it yet. I'm assuming by the way you're reacted, it was not real great.
It was bad. But it was all these people in AEW who got on WWE when they did that sponsored match, the zombie match, and had the zombies coming to the ring and stuff. It was that bad.
I thought you was going to say the eye match.
It was kind of that bad. It was bad. But the same token, hey, whatever. But the one thing I do want to give AEW props for, biggest thing in wrestling to me right now is still the bloodline. But I'll tell you what, man, MJF and Adam Cole are fantastic, man. And MJF is just knocking it out of the park. And if people have been watching the last 6 or 8 weeks, if you don't think that he could make it in WWE, what he's doing right now, he's not going out there cussing and going crazy. He is entertaining, man. He is outstanding. I'll tell you, he's getting ready to get a bag of money 2024. If he hadn't already got paid, he may already AEW can't let. There's no way AEW can let him walk.
I think he's going to end up in WWE.
I think the AEW is going to break the bank and keep him. I think they have to.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me if WWE don't try to get him over there.
I think their philosophy is different. I don't think they'll break the bank. I don't think they'll get in a bidding war. I think they would offer him. I think they'd offer him a real good deal, and he can make a lot of money on merchandise and other things. If he wants to be it depends. If he wants to make a lot of money, if he wants to make a lot of money and be a huge name. If he wants to make a lot of money and be a huge name, he wants to go to WWE.
I think he's going to end up over there. I know, and people are going to get mad when I say this, but I think he knows that WWE is still the.
Oh yeah,
they're the number one company. They're the A company.
Oh, yeah, there's no.
I think in a way he wants to see. Hey, can I be the guy? Can I be the guy at the A? You know what I mean? At the top company. You know what I mean? I think there's going to be I think that might come into it a little bit where, especially if the money is anywhere close. I think that's because I mean if especially if you're great at something like that, you want to be able to say, hey, I was the best at the best company, not the best at this company.
Some people believe that's why Cody Rhodes left. And he wanted to be, and I think there was issues there in AEW. I think he got there and he seen, man, this is my opinion. It's kind of a shit show, man. The way things been ran, and it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, Glenn, we're talking about MJF. Glenn was wanting to know if we was talking about MJF.
Yeah, and Sting did bring out the Joker character. He's trying to turn into the Joker.
Yeah, Damien said he hopes they do it the right way and not like TNA did it.
It was decent last night. That was enjoyable what he did last night. His personality really came out. I thought it was a good segment. I enjoyed it. I do not like the card that they've announced for this great big pay-per-view. It just seems like another pay-per-view.
Our,
And
our buddy Walter was all hype about it. Did you see his post?
Yeah, I think Walter's on crack. Hey, I'm sure it's going to be an entertaining show. Them fans in England's going to go nuts. They're going to help me. They're going to help make the show. I'm sure it's going to be successful. But when you think about 80,000 fans, if this is their first really big event, you would think you would really want to go all in and really put on a super show. And I just don't. Looking at the matches, I don't see it. Personally, I don't see it. Now, there's other fans, who's more AEW diehards that may think the card's great. That would be interesting, Glenn. And speaking of that, and the promo that he did last night, he talked about Cody Rhodes a lot, and how Cody,
I was gonna say, wasn't him and Cody pretty?
Yeah. Well, see, he didn't really know Cody. He called when a few years ago before AEW existed, and they was doing this big pay-per-view, the first time. He called him and said, "Hey, you don't know me, but I would like an opportunity to wrestle on this card." And he didn't hear nothing. And finally, "Hey, kid, you're in. But we're gonna put you on the pre-show, pre-match." And got on the pre-match. They start the company up. I get a phone call from Tony Khan. Cody put a good word in for me. Khan liked me. I got an opportunity. And look where I'm at now.
Well, I've heard, because I know the way his persona comes off. I mean, on TV and everything, his persona come off that he's like he's a dick. But I've heard from some people I trust and have been around him quite a bit that he's a good, like off camera, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he is.
And I mean, I've heard that from, like I said, I've heard that from people that are, put it this way, people that used to work with him before he became a star.
Yeah. And I tell you something else that I don't like about this card. They're having MJF and Adam Cole on the pre-show to wrestle for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And then they're going to come back and wrestle. And I know it's probably going to help work an angle or something. I just don't think it makes it. I think it takes away from the men in the main event. What do you think? That's just my opinion.
Sleeping Angel says, I agree. I only pair for Adam Cole, MJF. I don't like this card either. Like I said, I haven't really looked at the card, but he was telling me some of it. And one thing I don't like about, and that's one thing I don't care for in AEW. They do too many of the six man, or they call it trios over there, I think, or whatever. 6-man tags is.
You're going to have.
Don't get me wrong. I like tag team wrestling, but I don't want a whole card of tag team matches. And it seems like all the shows I've watched, there's a lot of the 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. Like you said, they're doing another stadium stampede match
with 6 people on a team.
Yeah, and they just people. And they've done that not too long ago. Wasn't it?
Yeah, they did.
Was it last year?
Yeah, well, reviews ago. Maybe the last pay-per-view they had a big one. I think they're over. You got Kenny Omega, who a lot of people say is the greatest wrestler in the world. He's definitely top 10. If it, I don't know about the greatest, but he's very good. You got him in a damn 6-man tag. Why ain't he wrestling Ospreay for the third match for decided to break the tie? And you've got Jericho. I understand Jericho and Ospreay was supposed to wrestle before the pandemic in Japan, and they got canceled. Yeah. But can Jericho keep up with Ospreay? I mean, I'm not putting down Jericho, but Ospreay's style, and I'm sure Ospreay's going to change his style.
And Jericho's getting older. And I'm a big Jericho fan. I've been a Jericho fan for a long time. And when AEW first started, that was why I started watching AEW, was because of Jericho. And then I quit. I'll be honest, I quit watching AEW because it changed and then it didn't. I don't know, it didn't keep my attention anymore. So it was harder for me to watch. No,
I watch all wrestling.
Oh yeah, you watch everything.
AEW gives me enough to keep me coming back, but it's not my favorite. I'm gonna be honest. But right now, MJF and Adam Cole's one of the best things on TV, no doubt.
I know people aren't gonna like it, but personally, I'd rather watch GCW than AEW.
It's entertaining.
And some of that is because I know some of the guys and women that wrestle on GCW, so some of it's that.
Yeah.
But they have so much different style of matches. It's not all tag team. They'll have some hardcore. They'll have a death match. They'll have a wrestling match.
Yeah.
They'll have
the high flying stuff.
Yeah, it's a bunch. They have a multitude of things, and it keeps me it'll keep me invested.
They keep bringing in different names.
Yeah,
because he has that. He can do that because he don't have a set roster necessarily. Yeah, I like what they really remind me of ECW, early ECW especially. They really do.
What Glenn say here? Speaking of stampedes and multi-man tag matches,
he's the Canadian Stampede in 1997. Yeah, when they wrestled there in Canada, and the bad guys were the good guys in Canada, of course.
Damien did have a question. I didn't know if you saw it. Do you all see Lacey Evans going to AEW now that she looks to leave? Now that it looks like she's leaving WWE.
That's what I would thought, but then I just seen in 10 days she's opening up a restaurant. So I don't know. They showed her in the kitchen working on stuff, and she's getting ready to open up a cafe in 10 days. So I don't know. I thought she had all the tools. I thought she was going to be a big success. I don't know what happened.
Did her and WWE not get along? Is that what it ended up being? Or
Vince loved her. Vince left, and things went downhill for her. So maybe I don't know if she won a Triple H. I mean, I don't know what happened. She got pregnant. She was getting a push. She got pregnant. Things happen. She could have a bad attitude. You don't know.
And now that she's had a kid, maybe she's decided that she don't want to wrestle no more, and that's why. Maybe that's why she's opening a restaurant.
Yeah.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
But all right. Well, was there anything else you wanted to?
No, I think that's it
for today. All right. I'll go over my picks one more time. Major League Baseball today: Nationals +1.5 over the Red Sox. Guardians +1.5 against the Tigers. Cardinals +1.5 against the Mets. Like the Diamondbacks on the money line and the Dodgers on the money line. That's basically a pick for every baseball game today except one, which was it started earlier. You see what Billy put?
Yeah.
So the course Vince loved it, right? You never know with Vince what's going on with Vince.
No,
but we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room as well. It's where we post all the information about our upcoming shows. Also, if you missed Gonzo Sports Room or Sports Talk show last night, which was myself and Big Glenn, been in the comment section. You can find out on our Facebook page. You can also find on the All Sports All Plays Network. You can find Easy Money, a sports betting show on the All Sports All Plays Network as well. Go check them out. Facebook, YouTube, at the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network. And they also have a app you can get on Apple, get at the Google Play Store, Amazon, Roku. You can basically watch all the shows on demand. So go check out the ASAP Sports Network app as well. Join us tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, for an episode of Gonzo and the Judge Sports Talk. Be myself and the sports judge, Jonathan Mathis. We started the show back up on Tuesday. Thought we had a good episode Tuesday night. So looking forward to tonight. So join us for that. But this has been Easy Money, a sports betting show. We appreciate everybody watching. And we will see you guys tomorrow. On tomorrow's show, we'll give our picks for Major League Baseball. We'll also give out picks for the big UFC card this weekend with O'Malley against Sterling. There's a lot of good fights on that card. So join us for that. Got some NFL preseason football kicking off again tonight. We got some this weekend. 21 days away from the first regular season game. I think we're only about 10 days away from college football starting. So we're getting ready to get right into football season. And we'll start giving out picks for those games as well. But hope everybody enjoys their Thursday evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.